is Dr. Luhlile Molly, also known as the Tooth Fairy, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna talk about all things ComServe. I've been in ComServe for almost 2 months now. It is the end of February, and I have a few things I want to share with you guys. I do not want to give off the impression that I am complaining or anything negative. This video is just more of like a video diary to share with you guys of the things that I experienced in these past 2 months. I'm gonna talk about the money, I'm gonna talk about dealing with patients, I'm gonna talk about the tea on my staff. Just kidding, I don't want to be in beef with any of my staff members. I'm not trying to get fired after 2 months of working. What is this? I need this job. I think we are very privileged as healthcare workers, as young healthcare workers, to be put in spaces like this. If you guys don't know already from all my vlogs, I am placed in a very rural area in the Eastern Cape. I am from Eastern Cape, Ekabeja, but I am a few kilometers away from home, I might say, and this whole city girl thing turned into Lali Queen is real, guys, where I glamorize it a lot on social media, but in this video I'm going to tell you exactly what it's been like. Number one, compromising. So ever since I moved out to the Lali, I've compromised a lot of things such as luxury and comfortability. So I'm currently living with the 3 other girls in this house. We share a kitchen and a bathroom, and everyone has their individual rooms. So this house is quite big, I might say, and there's a lot of room. I know you're only seeing like a portion of my room, but it is quite big. The only disadvantage to it is that it doesn't have like a built-in wardrobe, but you know, your girl's a hustler. I moved my way around that. Being in the Lali, there's a lot of issues you can imagine. I don't know if anyone has lived in the Lalis or visits family members in the Lalis. You already know what it is. There's always a water issue, there's always electricity issues. I've experienced water issues where there's not enough water or we don't have water in the tank. Thank goodness our house has a big JoJo tank. It supplies a lot of houses surrounding this house. So a lot of the people on our block come to us, to our JoJo tank, and to collect water. It's been a bit crazy on some other days because we're always collecting water to do everything basically, because you need water to cook, you need water to wash, you need water to drink, you need water to flush the toilet. So we've been using a lot of the bucket system. And yeah, like that is new for me, obviously, because I've been a city girl for all my life, and I want to say I've adapted now, but it took me quite a few weeks because I've been here since I believe the 2nd of January. That's when I arrived, and we're almost towards the end of Feb, so it took me quite some time to adjust. Electricity can go for days, and it hurts when you bulk up on your food and then you put it in the deep freezer only for it to be off like for days, and then the food gets off. Like guys, I literally had to throw so much meat away from the last time we had a power outage, and the only time that the power will go back on is when the generator is switched on. I basically don't have anything to eat. Thank goodness that my housemates are really like nice people, and we always like put food together, or some of them like give me groceries so I can sustain myself. So another thing that you need to invest in is canned foods here, especially with the power outage. You always want to have something that you can put together. Charts, I have canned fruits, and I have canned beef. So these are the foods that keep me going. Number 2, learning the importance of oral health. I understand the importance of how keeping a good oral hygiene can impact your systemic health. Many oral diseases such as periodontal disease are linked to diabetes and smoking. Just by giving you an oral examination, we can tell so many things. We can tell if you're immunocompromised, if you're diabetic, if you're anemic, if you are being sexually abused, So we can tell a lot just by looking at the mouth. So when I got here, I realized that a lot of people are not educated on the importance of oral hygiene. There are a lot of resources that we do not have. So if a patient needs, let's say, a filling or a root canal treatment or crown and bridge work, these things are not done at my hospital. I'm not saying all hospitals in South Africa, but I'm just saying at this particular hospital that I'm working at, we do not have all the resources that we need to help these people. But what we do our extractions, we do our partial dentures. So we do what we can to help our patients improve their oral hygiene and overall confidence. I had this little girl, she was a trauma case, and they left it for so long. And what is weird is that her tooth, if you can envision the palate, her tooth was piercing through the palate and through the gingiva on the other side. So this is not normal, in case you're wondering, like, what are you talking about, Lulu? This is not normal. The tooth is literally going through her gum like this instead of at a vertical angle. So that's not normal. That's not normal at all. So it was very alarming that they would leave it for so long and the child would just carry on with like her life. And the sad thing is that that was not the only problem with that child's mouth. She also had early childhood caries. Most of her teeth were decayed. Like, little girl did not have, like, she barely had any teeth to smile with. Patients on a daily basis who are neglecting their oral health. So my job is to educate them. The sad thing is I'm only educating them when it's kind of like too late. It's very, very sad to see such cases where I could have done a root canal treatment instead of extracting the tooth, because most of the time, even if they need a root canal, the patient A cannot afford it, and B, the general practitioner who does such procedures is miles and miles away from them, and they cannot afford to travel there and to pay for treatment. So it's out of the question. They always opt to take out the tooth. 3, the village life. I actually enjoy the village life, you guys. I love seeing random animals walking around the hospital, chilling outside the dental office. I actually love the fresh air of the village. Like, I really like the laddies, guys. I've always been infatuated with them. I don't know if it's because I never grew up in one or frequently visited one, but I've always been in love with the idea of one day settling in the village or having like a village home where I can always visit on the weekends, growing my own vegetables, having my own livestock, just marrying a cute little farmer. Like, I've always wanted a combination of the two in a man. I don't know. I just see myself settling in the village. Like, I can see it. But the bougie village, guys, the one with like, Wi-Fi, a nice toilet, like a big house, the bougie village. That's what I want. Also the landscape. I love how beautiful the landscape is. Like, oh my goodness, guys. It kind of reminds me of Cape Town, but like not Cape Town at the same time. Like, the landscape is absolutely beautiful. The people are friendly, so much life, and it's just refreshing being on this side. The only thing that I would also say that I do not like about being here is the fact that a lot of clothing stores or food stores that I'm used to having access to are not here. They're like so far away from this place. They're kilometers away, and I hate that. I really hate that. Even the town, there's a few things that they don't have, like, let's say Woolies, no McD's here, but there are other things such as KFC, Debonairs, Fisherways. We have all that, but the clothing stores, non-existent, guys. Non-existent. You have to go to the next town to get you some nice sneakers, to get you some nice Crocs, a few things that you won't get here, and you just have to accept that you're not going to get them here. You need to go to a different town. Also, another thing that I do not like, that literally every time I walk to work, I have this phobia of snakes. There is a lot of reptiles, like a lot of snakes, a lot of snakes. Like, it freaks me out that like every time I walk to work, I could be, just bumping into a random snake on a random Wednesday. Like, that freaks me out. And I just don't know what to do, because like one of my colleagues were even talking about this, and she showed me a video of one of the snakes that she found on her yard. You guys, it was so humongous, that thing. And those things are freaking poisonous. You can just tell, that one is poisonous. They are thick and long. Yo guys, you're shame. Number 4, loneliness. When I moved here, I was with my parents for the longest time, let's say about a week. They were helping me, you know, just get settled in, because I was meeting my housemate's parents. We were just getting to know each other. So it was a full house. There was always something going on. There was always someone to talk to. As the weeks went by, our parents had to leave and it was just us. So yes, I do talk to my housemates all the time. We talk all the time. We cook together, or we cook for the others, and we just have like sit down for like a cute little dinner table situation. But there are times when I get lonely, because I'm so used to having my friends so in close proximity to me. And now that everyone is like, you know, dispersed all around SA, it's crazy that we have to literally go out of our ways and see each other. It gives you a sense of a bit of loneliness, just a bit emotionally taxing to realize how much of a distance you are from the people that you've built relationships with for a period of years, and your family. It's not nice. It's just something that I kind of deal with at the moment. There are days where I truly miss my brother or my sister, my mom. So there are days where I truly miss these people, to the point where I feel like I'm literally having a breakdown, and I just end up, you know, just letting everything out and just crying, because I know like if they were here, we would be chatting away, we'd be laughing, we'd be making jokes, you know. I just always loved the company of people. I've never been, maybe it's because I'm not an only child, and I've literally been surrounded by people my entire life. I had my brother, we always were together, and later on I had my cousins. We'd always do sleepovers, and then at some point I was living with my cousins, or they were living with us, and I just always had people. I was always sharing a room, I was always sharing my space with people. So to have my entire space to myself as of now, it's a big of a whoa for me. Some days are easier than others, but yeah, there is a sense of loneliness, being so far away from everything that you built, everything that's familiar to you, to start afresh. Number 5, being worked like a dog. Now, I don't say this in a sense where I'm worked to the nails, like it's abusive at this point. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I mean is that our South African healthcare system is broken. We all know this. There's gonna be a march on the 26th in Gauteng. So this is an ongoing issue that we can acknowledge, that a lot of professions, also I'm gonna speak specifically in the healthcare system, there are not being enough jobs being promoted for health professionals. That's why you're seeing this uproar about doctors that are unemployed after ComServe. And this is not far-fetched, or let me say, this is very real. It's close to home, because I know a few people personally who have been struggling to get a government post. And if you don't know, a government post is key, especially if you want to go into things like specializing. And so it makes it difficult if you cannot get a government post and you want to specialize at the same time, because you need the one to get the one. Since there is a shortage of healthcare professions in these hospitals, and there's an influx of patients coming into these public hospitals, there is a lot of strain on the existing staff, and it's very draining physically for the existing staff to keep up with these numbers. And when you look at the ratios, it's really crazy, like how many doctors there are to a certain number of patients. It's really crazy and scary that so much pressure is put on the medical staff to see all these people, and some of these people are turned away because there's not enough time or specialists to work on these patients. Patients get pushed on waiting lists. And I know, because even when I was studying at UWC, there are patients who needed to see specialists, but they had to be prioritized in terms of which one needs their surgery now. So the others would be put on a waiting list. I remember orthodontics, just to get braces, there was a 5-year waiting list. Even though there are resources that are lacking, We are not understaffed here in the dental clinic, if I'm being specific. I really appreciate on how we work here and how we, attend to patients and just do the best that we can. But this is the reality of many situations in these public hospitals. I hope y'all are voting because, ciao. Number 6, the money. So you guys, this is probably the most interesting part of it, is the money. So in rural areas, you earn a lot of money. And they always emphasize that this is the most money you're gonna make in ComServe. So you need to be very, very smart about how you spend and your budget here. So fortunately here, there's not a lot of things that you need to pay for, such as accommodation is provided by the hospital. So I'm not paying rent. I'm just, the money that I'm working for goes to me or my family. I'm literally using the money to buy groceries, basic stuff. I haven't done anything extravagant. The only thing that I was planning to do or I'm in the process of doing is purchasing a camera and a fridge. But I need that because my little bar fridge is not working for me anymore. It worked for 5 years now. We're moving on to bigger and better things. So yeah, the money here is really, really good. And on top of that, you get a rural allowance. So I am currently at 22%. I think it's the highest. I'm not sure, but I do think it's one of the highest, if not the highest percentage to get a rural allowance. So it's my salary and my rural allowance. Of course, there are deductions, there's tax, you guys. I'm not going to disclose the amounts because, child, some things need to be kept private. But you'll see me balling when I'm balling. Right now, I'm still trying to get, learn how to manage money. I'm still trying to get all my basic needs met. Obviously, I won't be doing a lot of saving this month because there's a whole lot of stuff that I need to do. There's a sense of a bit of overwhelming once you get your first big check. If you're like me and you're used to getting a certain amount of money from your parents or from your bursary or whatever, like a stipend, when you get your first salary in ComServe, it's a shock, in a good way, but it can be overwhelming in the sense that you don't know now how to manage this money because you've never had such money, this huge amount of money in your entire life. So this is your first time seeing so many zeros and numbers on your bank balance and you're like, whoa. So before you get too excited, you really need to make a checklist of all the things that you think you need or the things you really, really need. Like I said, I needed a fridge and I'm working on getting a camera for content. So I make a list of all the things I need, including groceries, so that I know about, okay, I'm dedicating this amount of money to spend on all my expenses and needs, and then I'm gonna save the rest. Because you need to be realistic. Like I said, there are so many professions that are unemployed currently and you're not guaranteed a job next year. So what are you gonna do? And most of dentists do a lot of locuming. So they're working here, they're working there. And we all know the history of private practitioners. Some of them don't pay well. So you need to be realistic at the end of the day. You can't be big spending, buying BMs, buying Abo Gucci every single month. You need to be realistic with the amount of money you spend and save, because at the end of the day, next year, what are you going to do when you have a car installment that's costing you 26K? You still need to buy groceries. You still need to spend 6 to 7, 8, 10K on rent. You still need to maintain your lifestyle. So it can be a lot. It can be a lot of stress, unnecessary stress that you're going to put yourself under if you spend your money in ComServe recklessly. I'm realizing how much of experience I'm gaining this year compared to last year. And I realized that I have so much to learn. It can be so humbling sometimes when you cannot extract a tooth, when you're struggling, when you can't remember something, steps of a procedure. It can be really, really humbling. And you think to yourself man, I'm so useless. That's how I feel every time. I feel like I don't know something. So for some reason, my phone stopped recording in the midst of my rant. And I just wanted to say that, yes, I have a lot to learn and I'm trying to put less pressure on myself. to get everything perfect on the first go. After all, it's still the first 2 months of ComServe and I have so much to learn in the next 10 months. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. I will see you guys on the next one. Mwah. No bars.